Welcome. I am Dr. Shelby Sims, principal of Western Ave Tech Magnet School. Thank you for joining us for the Princess in Black webcast, hosted by KLCS and Candlewick Press. We are delighted to host this event at Western Ave Tech Magnet Campus, which serves ETK through 6th grade, soon to be 7th and 8th. Western is an urban school that facilitates a supportive environment in which students are prepared to be global learners, understanding and making connections with the world. Our ultimate goal is to empower students to become independent, critical thinkers who are able to succeed in our diverse and changing society. I am here to introduce the creators behind the New York Times-bestselling The Princess in Black series. Together, they have created 7 books, introduced the world to a new array of princesses and superheroes, and giving us the phrase, "Twinkle, twinkle, little smash." They're here today to share the latest installment in the series, The Princess in Black and the Bathtime Battle, which features our hero solving a very stinky problem.
Thank you, Principal Sims.
Hello, I am Shannon Hale, and I have written about 35 books, which 7 of those are now The Princess in Black.
And I am Dean Hale. I am married to the lovely Shannon Hale. And 7 of the books I've written are also Princess in Black.
And I'm LeUyen Pham. I am not at all related to Shannon or Dean, unfortunately. But I wish that they would, bring me in that way.
We'll adopt you.
I will take it. I am the illustrator of the Princess in Black books. I have illustrated over 100 books, most of them with them over there. The good ones with them over there. Wait, I didn't say that. Sorry, other authors, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, they're all good.
Well, we're here today to talk about The Princess in Black. And The Princess in Black began when one day our daughter, who was 4 years old, her name is Magnolia. Does that name sound familiar to anybody? Yes. So that's her real name, Magnolia. And she was 4, and she was wearing this little skirt that had butterflies on it. And she pointed at the different colors on the skirt, and she said, "Mama, pink is a girl color, and purple's a girl color, and yellow's a girl color, but not black." And my first thought was, what? What do you think? What? You're so smart. I was like, what? Who says that some people can wear some colors and other people can't wear other colors? Is that the weirdest idea? Does someone wake up one day and say, like, okay, these colors are only for girls, these colors are only for boys? That's just weird. Can you guys wear any color you want? Yeah. Raise your hand if you can wear pink if you want. Raise your hand if you can wear black if you want. Raise your hand if you can wear blue if you want. Raise your hand if you can wear any color you want.
Oh, no.
Yes! There's no such thing as colors that are just for some people and not for others. That's crazy. I don't know where she got that idea. And I said to her, anybody can wear any color, and girls can certainly wear black. And she said, "Mama, princesses don't wear black." And I thought, because I've written a lot of books about princesses, but I couldn't think of a single princess who wore black. And I thought she was absolutely right. She was only 4, but she had noticed that. And I started thinking about that phrase, the princess in black. And when Dean came home from work, I said, "The Princess in Black!"
And I said, and she's a superhero.
And I said, yes!
And she fights monsters.
And she must fight monsters. And she must fight monsters because why does she need to fight the monsters? Because the monsters want to eat.
Goats!
Yes!
And we must protect the goats.
So that's how it started. And then from there, we had to figure out who the characters were going to be. We knew we wanted her to have a friend, and that became Duff the Goat Boy because he took care of the goats. And where do the monsters come from? And what are the monsters like? Because we wanted them to be fun and funny and not necessarily scary. And we started asking, whenever we write a story, we ask ourselves a lot of questions. And the story comes out of answering all those questions. And eventually the answer was The Princess in Black. So we have a new Princess in Black and the Bathtime Battle. We're not going to read the whole thing, but Dean is going to read to you the first few chapters.
Yes, I am. Here we go. The Princess and you know what? How many chapters? 6?
5 or 6. We'll see. I can't remember.
It's some number younger than you. Okay. Chapter 1. Princess Magnolia was in the castle kitchen designing a bridge. She placed cups upside down for supports. She balanced spoons and forks on top. She held her breath, but they all tumbled down. Too many forks and not enough supports. She would have to start over. Well, that stinks, said Princess Magnolia. Just then, an alarming smell floated through the window. Princess Magnolia stuck out her tongue. No, she said, that stinks. She checked her glitterstone ring. It wasn't ringing. No monster alarm, just an alarming smell. This smelled like a problem for the Princess in Black. A few minutes later, the Princess in Black and Blackie were galloping away from the castle. Do you smell it too, Blackie? She asked. Blackie sneezed. He most definitely smelled it, and he'd prefer to never smell it again. They followed the odor all the way to the goat pasture. The goats were gagging. The goats were gasping. A squirrel was turning green. I'm glad you've come, said the Goat Avenger. We've got trouble.
Do you love the expressions on those goat faces? I think they're hilarious the way they win through those.
It sure smells like trouble, said the Princess in Black. The Goat Avenger kicked the cloud of stench. We can't battle it, Princess in Black. She punched the cloud of stink. Our ninja moves do nothing, Goat Avenger. Yeah, the Goat Avenger shouted. He kicked the stink harder. His foot passed through it. He fell on his bum. Blackie neighed. He swished his tail. Great idea, Blackie, said the Princess in Black. She opened her fan. She fanned her fan at the smell. It's working, said the Goat Avenger. The stench floated away to the south. At last the pasture air was stink-free. The goats cheered. The Princess in Black and the Goat Avenger had saved the day.
Do you think the day was saved? Was that it? Is the story over?
The end.
Oh, they thought it was over, but what happens next?
Chapter 2. Princess Snapdragon was trimming the bushes in her garden. She loved a sunny spot. She relished a blooming scene. She savored the scent of flowers. Suddenly, a stink blew into the garden. The roses sagged and the lilies curled up. The bluebells turned green. Her pet dragon, Moonwhistle, crouched behind the buttercups. She's covered her snout. Oh, Moonwhistle, said Princess Snapdragon, this odor is alarming. I wish I could make it go away. Moonwhistle hopped up. She pointed a wing at the garden shed where they kept their secret disguises. You're right, Moonwhistle, said Princess Snapdragon. We've prepared for this day. It's time at last. Together they flew into the shed. When they flew out, they were no longer Princess Snapdragon and Moonwhistle the dragon. They followed the stench out of their kingdom. They followed the stink right into the goat pasture. Wow, said the Goat Avenger, another masked hero. It is I, Flower Girl, said Flower Girl. She tossed a handful of rose petals. It was a nice touch. And this is my faithful companion, Horsefly the Pegasus. Always nice to meet another hero, said the Princess in Black. She was out of breath from all the fanning. Princess in Black, said Flower Girl, you are fanning that horrible smell to the south, and to the south is Princess Snapdragon's kingdom. Oh, no, that stinks, said the Princess in Black. It certainly does, said the Goat Avenger, wrinkling his nose. Perhaps we can chase the smell away? With flowers, said Flower Girl. Horsefly landed on the grass, and Flower Girl handed out bouquets of roses. The heroes and animals batted their bouquets at the stink. It slithered away to the west. Now the day was saved, thanks to the three heroes and their faithful companions.
So that's it, right? The day is saved. It's all over? Woo-hoo! No, there's going to be more? Okay, let's see.
Princess Honeysuckle was dancing in her courtyard. She loved a flying leap. She relished a low crouch. She savored the joy of the dance. Suddenly she heard cries of alarm. Fursuit, what's happening? She asked her pet wolf. Fursuit whined. In the courtyard trees, the songbirds were gasping. The songbirds were gagging. A bluebird turned green. What a horrible stench, said Princess Honeysuckle. Fursuit, I think it might be time. Fursuit smiled a wolf smile. The princess and wolf sneaked into the gazebo. They put on disguises. Then they rode straight to the goat pasture. It is I, Cartwheel Queen. Cartwheel Queen did a cartwheel. It was a very good cartwheel. And this isn't a wolf. This is my dog. His name is Good Boy. Good Boy barked. It was a pretty good bark. Always nice to meet a new hero, said the Princess in Black. We followed a terrible odor all the way from Princess Honeysuckle's kingdom in the west, said Cartwheel Queen. Do you know where it's coming from? The three heroes smiled sheepishly. The goats smiled goatishly. We must have sent it there, said Flower Girl. How to get rid of this smell? Asked Cartwheel Queen. She did another cartwheel. Cartwheels helped her to think. Your cartwheel gave me an idea, said the Goat Avenger. Cartwheel Queen helped him fetch the goat's summer fan. They set it by the hole to Monsterland and pointed it up. The fan's blades spun as fast as a cartwheel. The wind from the fan pushed the stink into the clouds. And now, at last, the day was saved, thanks to 4 brave heroes and their fearless companions.
Now it's over, right? They saved the day. It's got to be done. No, they haven't figured it out yet. Oh, boy.
Princess Orchid was trying out the new zip line she'd built in the village playground. She loved a good whoosh. She relished a thrilling ride. She savored the swooshing of the wind. But then she ziplined right through a cloud of stink. Ugh, said Princess Orchid, falling down. All around her, children were gagging. Children were gasping. One boy turned green. It was the smelliest smell anyone had ever smelled. Help, said a little girl. It's so gross. The smell, said a little boy, falling to his knees. The smell. I'll fix this, said Princess Orchid, somehow. Princess Orchid ziplined back to her castle. Not a moose, Princess Orchid called out to her reindeer, who was not a moose. Not a moose followed her into the workshop. Princess Orchid whispered into her fur-tipped ear, The time has come. Not a moose nodded. She slipped socks shaped like bunny ears over her antlers. They spotted the stinky trail going up into the clouds. It came down again at the goat pasture, where a whole bunch of heroes were standing around a hole and a fan. It is I, Miss Fix-It, said Miss Fix-It, and this is my faithful companion, Doom Rabbit the Bunny. Doom Rabbit nodded. Her sock ears flopped up and down. I guess you've come from the north, said Cartwheel Queen. Where there was a horrible smell, said the Goat Avenger. And you've come to stop it, said the Princess in Black. Yes, exactly, said Miss Fix-It. We tried to push the stink up, said Flower Girl. What goes up must come down, said Miss Fix-It. And it came down into Princess Orchid's kingdom. The Goat Avenger turned off the fan, and the stink once again settled on the goat pasture. The goats whimpered. One fell over with its hooves in the air. If it were a monster, I'd know what to do, said the Princess in Black. But how do you fight a stink?
How do you fight a stink?
Dun, dun.
What do you do? Where do you think the stink is coming from? What do you think?
I think they need something. I think they need I think the stink is coming from.
Where is that stink coming from?
Probably from a monster.
Do you guys have any little brothers or sisters? Do they ever get stinky?
Yeah.
Do you
And
ever get stinky?
What happens when we don't want to get too personal?
Oh, right. I wasn't asking you.
What happens if the little brother or sister gets stinky? What do you need to do? Does the title of this book give you a clue?
Yes.
Remember what the title is? The Princess in Black and the Bathtime Battle. So we don't want to give out what's going to happen. You guys can read the rest. But that is a big clue. We're going to stop reading there so we don't spoil it for you. And now we want to do a little art magic.
So I get probably the funnest job out of all this. I know you guys have fun writing it together. I know all of that. But I get the fun of getting this story, and I get to come up with what a stinky monster looks like. I get to come up with what the superheroes' costumes are going to look like. And all of those things, where do you think those ideas come from me? You know, they do and they don't.
Come from your head?
Mm-hmm.
You know where I get a lot of my ideas? People like you guys. I have 2 little boys at home, and when I did the first Princess in Black book, I had to come up with all these monsters. Because Shannon and Dean get to write something like, it was a big blue monster. And that's it. And there was no other description. And I had to come up with, well, what's this big blue monster going to look like? And I figured, you know what? Everyone has drawn monsters. Everyone knows how to draw monsters. How do you draw a monster that looks different than other monsters? Can I show you guys the trick that I used to come up with how I came up with my monster? Okay, so I used my sons to help me with this one. And I think actually we're going to get Principal Sims. Is she here? No. We are going to get you. What's your name? Calvin, come on up. I'm going to borrow you for 1 split second, okay? You're going to stand right here. You're going to take this marker. And this is what I did at home. This is how I came up with all the monsters for all of the books that I've done so far. I would have my sons take a big sheet of paper like this, and then I give them a marker, just like I gave Calvin, and I had them draw me a shape. Any shape you want, so long as you close it up. Can you draw that for me? Do like a really funky shape. Just make sure you close it on up. Make some squiggles to it. Some squiggles. Do some squiggles. It's more fun if you do a lot of funky squiggles, like up and down and up and down. Okay. Keep going. There you go. And then just make sure you close it on up again. Oh, that's actually a really good shape. All right. You stay right there. Is that a good shape, guys? What do you think?
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. All right. So what I would do is I would have my sons draw me a shape like this, and then you know what I'd do to the shape? Turn it into a monster. And I would do it by saying things like this, like, all right, how many eyes do you think this monster should have? 3 eyes. Should we do 3 eyes? Yeah. Should they be like big round eyes? Would that be good? All right, let's see. We're going to do 1 big old eye over here. Like that. That's 1 eye, right? Another eye over here. Does that work? Yeah. Okay. And then this other eye, should we make the other eye look like a little bit of it's angry? Yeah. All right. See, the cool thing about having 3 eyes is that you can point them in any direction that you want them to be. All right, 3 eyes. Should it have some ears? Horns. Should we have horns like long goat horns, or should we have squiggly horns or unicorn horns?
Squiggly horns.
Squiggly horns. Should we have squiggly horns? All right. Should we just 2? Squiggly horns. Like this. Does this work? Yeah. Like that? Another squiggly horn over here. Do you know how I draw so well? Do you know why I draw well? Yeah. Why do you think I draw so well? Because I practice. I've been drawing every single day since I was about 3 years old. That's a long time to be drawing. And that's why I get good at this. But honestly, the reason why these monsters look good is because I would never have drawn this shape by myself. I would have drawn something really, really normal. And this is really cool because I wouldn't even know what to do with it. What kind of nose should it have? Should it have a big nose, a little nose?
A little nose.
A little nose. Okay. Can we do it like a little kitty nose? A little nose. Big teeth or little teeth? Big mouth, little mouth? Big mouth. Ready? Like that. And big teeth? Sharp teeth or straight teeth? Like that? Oh, wait. I forgot to ask. Is it a furry monster or a slimy monster or what kind of a monster? Is it furry? Furry monster. All right, we're going to make this guy furry. A furry monster. And then should he have any arms? Or does she just have feet? Arms. Okay. Let's do some arms. Oh, arms. What kind of arms? Like long, skinny arms? Should he have claws on the end of his arms? What do you think? Wait, the drawing is like a movie or the monster is like a movie? Yeah, see? And it all started from Calvin's shape. All right, feet. Should he have any feet? Feet. Big old, like, bare feet? Or with toes? Lots of big toes. Bare feet. All right. Wait, like a bear? Like the animal, the bear? No? Bare feet. Oh, I know. Human-looking feet.
But no shoes.
With no shoes. Does that work?
That's what our toes look like.
I don't know. Maybe your toes look like that. I don't know.
Our toes doesn't look like that.
Hang on. Big toes. Like that.
It looks like the hands.
Should we give it any stripes or spots? What do you think?
Stripes.
We should do some stripes on this guy, right? Let's do some stripes. And then, does he need anything else? Do you want to put like wings or... Oh! Should he have a tail?
Yes.
Yes. What kind of tail should he have?
A pointy one.
A pointy one, like a rat's tail or something? Should we do kind of a rat's tail? All right. Let's do a rat tail. It's a girl. What's her name? What's her name? Do you want to come up? Oh, wait. We're going to have the authors come up with a good name for this monster. I'm going to put you guys in the spot. What kind of name are we going to give this one?
I would call her Slurbita, but
Slurbita?
Slurbita.
Slurbita. Is that good for you, Calvin? Slurbita. I don't even know how to spell Slurbita. You're going to have to help me out with that.
SLURB.
SLURBI.
I like that because slurb is a weird word that sounds kind of monstrous, but ita sounds sort of sweet, doesn't it?
There you go. There's your monster. Thank you, Calvin. You can have a seat.
Slurbita.
So I think I'm going to try to make one more drawing up here, but I'm going to do this one kind of in secret, and I am going to require Reindeer Girl over here. What's your name? What's your name? Abrielle, come on up. And while I'm doing this drawing, I think Shannon and Dean
We'll get started on answering some of your questions. Yes. All right.
not just your questions, but your questions.
Out in the cameras.
Did you know that if you look really close at a camera, you can see the people watching you?
Oh, yeah, I can.
But nobody ever really gets that close because it's creepy.
Oh, I
Hi.
see. Hi.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not you. Yeah. that
Yeah, the one's waving. Okay. This question comes from Tilden Public Library in Tilden, Nebraska. Do you guys know where Nebraska is? It's not in California.
one. Yeah, it's east of here.
Will there be even more Princess in Black books in the future?
Yes.
Indeed, there will be. So, book 1 had a light blue cover. Book 2 had a pink cover. Then we had 3 was green, 4 was yellow, 5 was red, 6 was purple, and 7 is
this one.
teal. So there's still a lot more colors. If we want to do every single color, so that's like what?
That's 250.
Maybe 200
5,000.
258,000 books. No, we don't know how many books we'll do, but we want to keep doing them as long as we can because we love them. All right. This one comes from?
St. Thomas School in Medina, Washington.
All right. How did you come up with the idea of the goo monster? I'll ask that question to you because you were the goo monster master.
This is the goo monster from book 6, I imagine.
Yes, from the we forgot the Science Fair Scare.
Science Fair Scare.
So Science Fair Scare was your idea. You were like, we should do a book at the Science Fair because what a great place for a book.
There are so many monsters that get created through mad science.
Through mad science. So we thought about, what science experiments could they be doing at the Science Fair?
And one of the experiments that always gets done is the volcano.
I did the volcano in 4th grade.
That's right. And what comes out of the volcano is a kind of goo.
It's a kind of goo.
And one of my favorite monsters is the blob, which is a giant
It's just
blobbity.
a giant slime thing that just kind of crawls around.
Yep.
So that's how the goo monster
That's
came
right.
about. How many rough drafts did it take to get the first Princess in Black right? And that question comes from Axtell Elementary in Axtell, Texas. How many rough drafts until we got the first book? It's hard to remember. I think we were writing that back in 2012 or something.
Yeah,
Were you
my
guys
memory-
alive in 2012? Yes, you were. You were 1. Yes.
So you
it's
were the same
been-
age as the Princess in Black.
It's been a long time. But I can't remember exactly how many drafts it was, but I do know we do multiple drafts. I would guess 30.
Yeah, no, it can be a lot, and even more after we think we're done.
Because these books, kids read these books over and over again, and adults like to read these books aloud to kids, we want to make sure every single word works. So we go over it over and over and over again to make sure it reads really well. You know that even though we've done so many books, we don't get it right the first time.
Yeah.
We rewrite a lot.
How long does it take to think of an idea for a book and then to write the book? This comes from Hills Elementary in Fairfield, California.
It's different for every book how long that it takes.
Yeah. Some come super fast.
Yeah. I would say The Princess in Black, the initial idea was like a lightning strike.
Yeah.
Oh, the Princess in Black, she's a hero. And then it takes time to figure out, because the truth is, we could have taken the idea of a Princess in Black and told so many stories. We
Could have just done Batman.
Yes.
Except
but even
Batman's
like
own.
what age we would write for. So I've written books for adults, so I could have done The Princess in Black for adults. We've done graphic novels. We could have done a graphic novel. We could have done it for teenagers. We could have done it for middle age. We could have done it for younger kids and for little teeny kids. We could have done a picture book. We could have done a screenplay. There were so many different options. And we chose to do it the way we did because we have kids.
That's true.
We have 4 kids, and we could not find books like this. You know, there's the early reader books, and then there's the bigger chapter books like Magic Treehouse, and there weren't a lot in between. And we really wanted an in-between book for our kids that were ready for something more challenging than an easy reader, but weren't ready for
Couldn't
the
write
really
read.
big chapter books.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
But we are only missing a name for the soccer player superhero.
So did you just turn her into a superhero?
She was already a superhero. I just revealed her true self on paper. What kind of name should we come up with for her? It's got to be a superhero name. What do you think? Do you guys have any suggestions? What do
So
you think?
Princess Magnolia becomes the Princess in Black. Princess Sneezewort becomes the Princess in Blankets. Duff the Goat Boy becomes the Goat Avenger. What's her superhero name?
Princess Aurora? Princess Aurora?
That is already the princesses. That's the princess from Sleeping Beauty's name. Sleeping Beauty. Let's think of some more superhero names.
Princess Soccer? Mm-hmm. Are you a princess or are you just like a cool superhero soccer player?
All right.
So let's think about soccer words. So there's soccer, there's goalposts, there's cleats, there's like... this is what we do when we come up names. We
Yeah.
think of all the words associated with it.
Football
So
or football.
What are some other soccer words?
What are soccer words? What are some soccer words?
I would probably call her Goal Girl, but
Goalie girl?
no, just Goal. Or,
Goal girl?
and then when she won, she would say, "Goal!" Never stop.
Goal girl? Would that be good?
No, it could be
she
better
said
than that.
princess.
She said
wants
princess.
Oh,
So
sorry.
Princess Soccer. Princess Soccer was a great one.
What's another name? Who has a name? Yeah.
Princess Soccer Queen.
Princess Soccer Queen. Wow, wait. She's
That's
a princess
that's
and a
double up on
queen?
the royalty. Yes.
How about just soccer queen?
All right,
The
yeah.
soccer queen? Does the soccer queen work?
Then she'd be tricking them because they'd be looking for a princess, but they're getting a queen.
This might be something out in like the webcast world. If you guys want to vote on what the best name is, I'd kind of go for soccer queen.
Let's do Soccer
Yep.
Queen.
We'll do
Yep.
for soccer
Great.
queen right now. Ready? So it's
Heroes change their name over time.
They do. Soccer. I always have trouble doing block letters like this. Soccer Queen. Like that. Oops, and I'm running out of space for Queen. And if anybody out there in the webcast world wants to change like the name of her, feel free to email us. There you go, the Soccer Queen.
Awesome.
Now, you all can do this yourselves. When you go back home or back to class or whatever your teachers want, you can come up with your own superhero. So the idea with The Princess in Black is we took people that no one suspected were secretly superheroes and turned them into superheroes. No one suspected that the princess in the fluffy pink dress with the glass slippers was secretly a superhero.
Or that the boy who took care of the goats was.
Yes. So who could secretly be a superhero? Could your principal secretly be a superhero? What would her superhero name be? What would her powers be? Would you guys secretly be a superhero? What would your superhero name be? What would your powers be? So think about that and write and draw your own stories.
And also, remember how I made the monsters before? You know how easy that is to do by yourself? It's so much fun. And in fact, it's even more fun. It's fun to draw. It's more fun when someone else does the squiggle because that other person's going to try to make something hard for you to do.
So you could do this with a friend. Each of you draw a shape and then switch papers and turn the other person's shape into a monster.
And you just challenge them by saying, 10 eyeballs, tentacles instead of legs, slimy instead of furry. And you get some really crazy looking monsters that way. The more crazy the suggestions, the crazier the monster looks for sure.
Love it. All right, this question comes from Old 100 Elementary in Midlothian, Virginia. What advice do you have for writing with a partner?
Yeah, I'd like to hear that too.
So when I was younger and I wanted to write stories, I got together with my friends and tried to get to write stories together. And sometimes it went great and sometimes not so great because one person has an idea and the other person has an idea and they don't always mesh together. So it can be tricky to write with a partner. Or you do both, or you both just do your own story.
Right. It helps, especially with us, to have someone who is in charge.
Yes.
Even though, you are president and vice president, there is still a president. And this is the president.
I would say, but the fun part of writing with a partner is you come up with ideas you wouldn't come up with on your own.
Right.
So the funnest part is when we sit together or walk together and just start shooting ideas back and forth and get excited about stuff. And sometimes if I have a really strong idea and he has a really strong idea and we can't agree, then we just throw away both ideas and come up with a third one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This one is from Mount Tabor.
Elementary School in Mount Tabor. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Mount Tabor, New Jersey. How do you entice boys to read your books?
We don't have to entice them at all. They just read them because they're awesome.
We put monsters and superheroes in them.
The thing is there are all kinds of boys and all kinds of books and all kinds of girls, and every kid is different. And there's no book is just for one kind of person, just like no color is just for one kind of person, right? It could be anything.
Yeah.
So sometimes people will try to say that boys can't read a book about a girl or about a princess. Is that true?
No.
Can girls read all the books in the world, but boys can only read half the books?
Please no.
Is that fair to boys?
That's not fair.
Are girls allowed to read books about boys and girls, but boys are only allowed to read books about boys? That's a weird idea. And some people actually believe it. So especially some adults, because sometimes, have you guys noticed adults are not always super bright? Have you noticed that? Sometimes they've got some real weird ideas. So I'm just saying, if an adult tries to tell you that, you'd be like,
No, that's not true.
I don't know.
But
where
always
you got
listen to your
that.
parents.
All right. This is from Minowa Elementary School in Minowa, New York. How did your collaboration of an author team come about? We got married.
That's right. It was an early collaboration. Yeah, that's true.
So
That's it? You only have to marry you to become like your writing
Well,
partner?
for us, that worked.
I mean, honestly, I don't know.
I had always been like sticking my... Shannon has been writing books forever, and I'd be sticking my nose in and adding jokes into her books for a long time.
Sometimes I'd come back to my computer after a break, and there would be a section that I had not written, and they were completely inappropriate for the book. But they were hilarious.
There was a great helicopter crash at the end of one of her most moving books.
She changed one of my books, and it was supposed to be this beautiful, lovely ending, and all of a sudden a helicopter crashed and exploded. I'm like, I did not write that.
Yeah.
I had to delete
Your
it.
ending was better.
Yeah. From North White Elementary in St. Monin, Indiana. Do you ever disagree about what the characters in your books should do? I'm sure we do.
We probably do, but I mean, once you understand who the character... I mean, when
Yeah.
it's a new character... when you disagree, it's you're kind of deciding on who the character is.
Yeah.
And once you decide on who the character is, you
Then
usually don't
you know
disagree.
what the character would do.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I think we do disagree, but I don't think we fight.
No, not physically.
Because you would win.
No, you.
All right, Westmont Elementary School in Martinez, Georgia. Do you both write, or does one of you wordsmith more while the other composes?
Who's writing these questions? Are you guys writing these questions? They're really
This is from Martinez, Georgia.
Oh boy.
Well, now, so what's the difference between composing and wordsmithing? I mean, am I doing music?
I think it sounds to me like they mean who does a first draft and then who goes in and plays with the language and fixes it up. But the truth is we do both. Yeah.
We both do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really what we do is we brainstorm ideas and come up with ideas, and then we do an outline, and we do a really extensive outline chapter by chapter, and then we'll split up the chapters, and he'll write some of the first draft of some of the chapters, and I'll write the first draft of some of the chapters, and then we put it all together, and I'll read through it and change a bunch of stuff, and then he'll read through it and change a bunch of stuff until we don't know who wrote what anymore.
Right. Except I know all the funny parts are mine.
Let's pause with these questions for a second. Do any of you in here have a question for us?
Or when,
So a question is something we can answer, not something that you just want to tell us. Yeah, right in the middle.
How do you make up the words for the story?
How do we make up the words for the story?
Well, one of the things that we do is we read a lot.
Yeah.
And from reading, it puts a lot of words in my head.
So that's like ideas.
And it gives you, just reading books and living gives you lots of ideas.
Yeah. This book said it this way. Maybe I could say it this way, but with a word different, or, just different kinds of things.
So honestly, we just write and delete and write and delete and write and delete. Sometimes people get an idea that you have to write it perfectly the first time, and that'll make you crazy. You just have to give yourself permission just to write whatever it is, and then look at it and see what you want to change. Yeah, do you have a question?
Why did you decide to put 3 eyes for the purple monster and then for the gold monster only 2 eyes?
So, why did you decide to put 3 eyes for the purple monster and 2 for the goo monster?
Well, I have 2 boys at home, and they get to judge all of my creatures. So every time I do a monster, I kind of run it past them, and then I ask them, "What do you guys think?" And then they'll usually say, "No, I like those," or "No, I don't like those." So that's usually how the monsters get, like the number of eyes. Just like how we were making the monsters here. My kids usually help me with that stuff. They give me all the good ideas.
Oh,
so it's always
very
I
observant.
steal all my ideas from my kids. Really, I'm not that good of an artist. I just listen to what they like.
We've
and
talked
then I
about
do
how
it.
dim adults are.
Yes, that's right. Kids have the better ideas,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, one more from this group in the back in the green.
Do you like the book just for fun or does it have a lesson?
So,
Wow.
so specifically, The Princess in Black, do we like it just for fun, or does it have a lesson? We always think about just the story. What could happen here? What should the characters do? How can it be funny? We're just thinking about the story. I have found that readers find their own lessons. Readers can read it and feel like, I have felt that way before, or I know what that is like, and that's the kind of character I want to be, and that's not the kind of character I want to be. So readers are best at figuring out what lesson you to take out of the book. If I, as the writer, tried to teach you the lesson through it, it would be boring.
I wouldn't want to illustrate something like that either. It's actually, it's really a lot of fun with these books, is I get the story, and they're so, so, so funny. And then the hard part of my job is to make it even funnier through the illustrations.
And she does.
How do you do that?
And she does.
But it's hard to do because some of them are really funny ones. Have you guys read the 3rd book, The Princess in Black and the Hungry Bunny Horde? Okay. The bad guys in that book are a bunch of cute little purple bunnies. How do you make cute little purple bunnies bad guys? And I had so much fun with that. It was really hard. But once you start to realize, you know what? Bunnies are a little bit creepy. They have those sharp little teeth. They look so cute. You want to put them on your lap. But then when they're on your lap, have you ever had like an animal on your lap before? And then they feel all soft and gushy. And then their claws start to get into your pants. And you're like, ow. And then they start to poop on you. And you're like, ew. And then you realize, yuck, this thing is not as cute as I thought it was. And then you make that 100 of these purple little bunnies all over you. And after a while, you're thinking, this is kind of gross. It's like being stampeded by a whole bunch of rats or something.
One
It was
thing
a good
that LeUyen did with those bunnies, if you go back and look at those pictures, to make them feel a little bit creepy or a little bit something not quite right, is she made their eyes different sizes.
Yeah, a little bit off. And in this book, the Bathtime Battle, this one, if you get to the end of the book, it was a lot of fun because I had to draw a stinky, slimy, gross monster. What makes you a stinky, slimy, gross monster? What's on you? What kind of stuff do you have sticking on your body? You've got like pizza slices, and you have fish bones on you, and you've got dirty sneakers and socks. And honestly, I just looked at my kids before they took a bath. I'm like, what do I smell? Okay, that goes in. What else do I smell? Okay, that goes in. So really, the monster's just, my sons. Sorry, Adrian, Leo, I love you, but
You gotta finish reading Bathtime Battle because spoiler, there is a monster and it is hilarious. All right, this comes from Kirsten Wagner, who is homeschooled. Do you have a favorite character?
Favorite character from the series?
Princess in Black.
Princess Sneezewort.
Yeah.
Because she's me when I was a little girl. Princess Sneezewort, she's got the glasses, and she's kind of the funny one that no one ever paid attention to, and she gets lost in the background, and that's very much how I felt when I was growing up. But I love Princess in Blankets because when they came up with the description for the Princess in Blankets, you know what I used to do when I was a kid? I used to put blankets on and pretend I was like a dancing queen superhero. So it was perfect. I just drew myself as a little kid. That's why she has glasses. That's why she looks all goofy, and she's got some darker skin. That's mine. What is yours?
Do you know, to give you an example of how important names are for characters, originally, when we had Princess Sneezewort, we had a different name for her, like Princess Lilac or something. And she was a perfectly fine character. But then we named all the princesses after flowers, and I came across a flower that was called sneezewort. There's a real flower called sneezewort. And when we thought about that, we thought that is such a funny name. So we changed her name to Princess Sneezewort, and immediately that changed her as a whole character and made her so much more interesting. All right, we're going to do one last question. Do you have any advice for aspiring writers and artists? This comes from Georgetown East Elementary School in Annapolis, Maryland. Advice for young writers and illustrators?
For illustrators, what do you think my advice would be? I've been drawing every day since I was 3. Practice! Draw every single day. That's all I can say. You only get better the more you do it. Every day, you draw every day. What's your advice?
It's the same. I mean, it's read every day, write every day, and be okay. Don't be mean to yourself. It's okay if you write junk. If it's bad, don't stop. Just keep writing.
It's just write for fun and read for fun. Find books that you like. Some people will try to tell you these are the kinds of books you have to like. You don't have to like what anybody else likes. You can like whatever books you like and just read for fun.
Oh, and pay attention to funny things that people do. Like, I'm going to remember your antler ears for forever now. And somewhere in one of my books, a girl is going to have some antler ears in there. It's always funny little things that you can spawn in people. Just remember those things.
And I think we are out of time. Thank you guys so much for coming.
You guys have been great.
And you guys too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.